Okay, today I want to talk to you about my daily trading routine. Okay, how do I prepare pre-market and then move it into the open New York session? I got a question from a Discord member, someone that's part of the community, and I'm just going to read the question um, and answer, as I go along. Okay, so if you're a beginner trader, someone that's watching for the first time, this may be something or may help answer a question that you may have when you're first starting off. But the question was this. Thanks again for all your great content. I was just watching your most recent video and was wondering, would you consider doing a video covering your daily workflow or process? Okay. I would really be interested in knowing how you prep for the day and pace yourself throughout the day. Do you utilize any type of alerts for when price returns to high probability zones, or do you typically watch the charts and keep scanning for opportunities? If there are no clean or clear setups, do you walk away and periodically check back in? Do you typically have zones planned out before the day begins? Okay, so first and foremost, I will say this. I've already kind of answered this specific same question in the past. So I will say this, guys, watch the videos. I know a lot of people probably new to the channel, probably haven't spent a lot of time watching videos, but I can assure you this: if you watch the videos and spend time, a lot of your answers, you'll find your answers in most video content. Okay, I will say this, but I have no problem answering this question. It is a very good question, and I guess kind of a multitude of questions in a sense. But number one, when I get up in the morning and prepare myself to get going, after having a bite to eat and maybe some orange juice or coffee, whatever the case is. I also like to kind of sometimes do a bit of exercise, just kind of get my blood flowing, my heart going, my mind going right before I even sit down and look at the charts. Now, I also do other things outside of trading, business-wise. So, my day is packed. My day is full, as well as I have family and kids. So I have to get, a lot of times in the morning, get the children off to school and things of that nature. But outside of that, before, I sit down to the charts, I got to get my mind right. Okay. If it's a day to where I've got so much going on to where I really can't focus in on the charts, I'll step away. Like this week has been a busy week for me. Have I been trading, dabbling here and there? Okay. Not spending so much or 100% focus in trading because, yes, this is my livelihood, but I also do other things, as far as income to support family as well. But outside of this, I really have to prepare myself on a daily basis before I sit in front of these charts. I always talk about in videos and have that if you aren't in a mental space to where you can sit and prepare yourself to start trading, then it may not be a good day for you, okay? Because you don't want to feel pressured and get into the markets. If you got something going on emotionally, you're just not physically fit, mentally fit that day, whatever it may be that's taking you out of that mental space, then stay away from the charts because that's going to be the day you're probably going to blow your account or you're going to lose money one way or the other. Now, as far as my workflow or process, it's pretty simple because all I really do in the morning time when I get it from the charts, and I've covered this before, I just simply look at the charts and from a top-down perspective, meaning I'm looking at a higher base chart. You have to start there. I need to see what structure is doing. I need to see what the market is actually doing. You guys hear me all the time talk about structure. Trading, you need to make trading as simple and simplistic as possible. And that's simply, again, looking at a higher base chart. Get your charts loaded up, okay? Start from a higher time frame approach and move down. Now, so what I'm looking for is just depicting which way the trend in the market is actually going. Looking at structure, looking at maybe the prior day for one, okay, and then moving into the daily session. But I'm also looking at what happened overnight into the Asian, London, and then moving into the opening U.S. session, okay? Because you have the pre-market session of the U.S. session before the New York session opens up. So normally I'm sitting down at my chart, say somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. I'm looking at the market to see what happened into the overnight, all right, Globex session moving into, the U.S. session again. So number one, I'm identifying the structure of the market, the flow of the market. Is it, making higher highs and higher lows? Are we breaking structure in one direction continuously, and continuously in one way or the other? Now, you must understand as well that the market can shift and change at any given point. But typically speaking, if we're coming out, I'll say for London session, and the market is bearish, all right, moving into the U.S. session, be very mindful because most times, especially after 10:30, you're going to have we have corrections, okay, with the market coming out of London and then the U.S. session doing the same thing. The market may correct and start becoming bullish and start moving to the upside and vice versa. So I'm paying close attention to that. What was going on during London session, okay? If we were bullish all London session and into the pre-market session and into the pre-market U.S. session and into the opening of the U.S. session, then somewhere after 10:30, 11 o'clock, the market loves to do a correction and move the opposite direction. That's the reason why I'm primarily on any given day, I'm only in the markets within 2 hours a day, okay? Please do yourself the biggest favor. You know, for me personally, 2 hours is enough to be trading. If you're spending all day looking at these markets, you are going to blow your account. You're going to lose some money because there's no reason to be in the markets all day long. I mean, maybe you had a losing trade and then you're trying to make up for that trade. Most times, you know, if you take a losing trade, then I would say be done for the day and then look to gear up for the next day. Now, I said this before, tops 2 trades a day, okay? If you're taking 2 trades back to back and lost, then be done, okay? But the key to it is managing your trade. I talk about that, your trades, when it comes to risk management. Getting out before it hits your stop. Preserving your capital. I can't teach anyone how to mentally prepare themselves. You have to only be able to do that yourself. I can show you the strategy I use, but will you follow it, okay? That strategy. I could talk about a trading plan, but will you follow it? You can't teach someone how to be mentally prepared because they're going to struggle one way or the other. A person has to identify their own self and know who they are as a person and correct their own actions in a sense. All right, you have to know. I could talk about risk management all day long, like I've done in many videos, but you also have to know when to cut trades to get out. If it don't feel right and the market's coming back against you, then get out. Even if it turns back around and goes in your favor, guess what? You still preserved your capital. You did not take a full-on stop and you didn't lose as much, okay? So I'm looking at the market to understand what it's currently doing. If we're bullish, I'm bullish. If we're bearish, I'm bearish. I keep it simple put. There's no like rocket science to the formula and to actually how I trade. I'm just looking at my higher base chart. I even covered this kind of slightly yesterday. Are we moving to the downside? If so, in that session, then I'm moving to the downside too. I'm just looking for pullbacks to key areas of supply. And that means we're making lower lows and lower highs, breaking structure to the downside. If like yesterday's session, if you take a look at here, the market was into Asian, when we got into the London session, we're kind of moving sideways. But even in London session, we started breaking structure back to the upside, as you can see here. Moving into the opening of the U.S. session, broke structure, pulled back, then broke structure again. It was a bullish day, okay? Some people may say we were kind of ranging, but that's if you look at Asian and into going to London and then the pre-market U.S. session, yes. But then we started breaking structure to the upside and pulling back. This was our low right here. So when I identify things like that, I'm always looking for the tops, the highs, or the lows. To put me in place to see, are we going to break the low here? Are we going to break a high? Okay. But if we're breaking structure to the upside and it left behind a low there and we're not coming back down to break that low, then I'm bullish. Okay. As long as we're breaking structure back to the upside and then vice versa. So I'm having to, number one, look at the daily look at the daily, what's going on activity wise on the chart for the day. Okay. But I'm also looking at the prior day to see what it did trend wise on a higher base chart. Okay, from there, then once I've identified the structure or the movement of the market, then I've formed a bias in which way I'm going to trade. All right, so my window, is typically between 7:30 and 10:30. Okay, no more than 11 o'clock, but really 7:30 to 10:30. There are a lot of great setups that take place during pre-market session from 7:30 to prior to the opening at 9:30. Now, once it gets to 9 o'clock, I'm not looking to take any trades because we're too close to the open, okay? And I also stay away from, lots of times we have 8:30 news. So yes, it could be kind of choppy. I have to kind of pick my preference of what, or how I'm going to trade because sometimes we have 8:30 news. So 7:30, we're getting closer to 8:30. It could be news. All right, I'm out of the market. I'm not going to, the closer we get, maybe 8:15, I'm not going to be trying to be looking for any trade setups the closer we get to 8:30. If there's news at 8:30. But if there's a window of opportunity where we have no room between 7:30 and 9 o'clock, an hour and a half, and I can get a trade in and it kicks off very well for me, I'm done for the day. If I get in one good trade a day, I'm done. I don't need to keep staying in the market because I already know through experience, the more I spend in the markets, forcing or taking trades left and right, I'm going to lose at some point. Okay, I already know that. That's just a game of probability of trading. Okay, just like any other anything else when it comes to probability. Okay, and that's what we're working off of is probability. We want it to be on our side, so that's why you have to size up the market, and that's why I talk about using confluence with charts at the same time. Starting with the higher base chart, identify the trend, identify the movement, and then mark off your zones that you have identified. If we're bullish, mark off demand zones. If we're bearish, mark off supply zones. Identify and mark those zones off the higher base chart and then move down to a lower base chart. That lower base chart is going to give you that extra layer of confluence to let you know and to look for the opportunity to be able to get into a trade. Okay, so my daily workflow process is there's not a lot that goes on to it. It's just simply I keep it simple. I don't make it overcomplicated. I'm just looking run down from a higher stance or higher chart to identify what's going on price action wise. Okay, we structurally, what are we doing within the market? So a recommendation, I personally would not, I'm telling you, look to trade more than 2 hours a day. If you can get in and get your trades in pre-market prior to the New York session opening at 9:30, that's good. Once the session opens at 9:30, to me, you got a 1 hour window. Maybe tops an hour and a half to about 11 o'clock. But be mindful and stay away from news events even during the opening session period. Okay, I'm extremely mindful of news and don't trade around news. I try to stay away from it because you do not know what could happen. I mean, the market could be bullish and then all of a sudden you got a zone marked up thinking that the market's close to that area. Okay, and then it gets there and right at news, it blasts right through that zone. Okay, and that may not typically happen if it was not no news. It may come back to your zone and then moving at your direction. So again, like I mentioned yesterday, I saw the market turning around, breaking structure, identified that. I said, okay, if I could find one good setup to get into a demand setup, like right here on the pullback, beautiful break of structure. I'm looking for beautiful, clean, clear breaks of structure. Okay. To where the market left behind a clean gap or unmitigated demand or supply area. In this case here, because we're breaking structure to the upside on the higher base chart, again, I'm starting there to form my bias. I'm bullish. Then I'm going to be looking for what opportunities to go long on a pullback to areas of demand. Do I mark alerts? No, I don't. I personally don't. Not saying there's nothing wrong with doing that, but I'm not in the market to sit around all day long like a 9-to-5 job. That's not what I'm into doing. Okay. You ask any professional trader that they're just trying to get an hour, maybe 2 hours in a trade and be done. All right. Because the more you spend time on these charts, the more you start to get tired. Your eyes start, you can't focus as much. I recommend if you're sitting there for hours on end doing it, you need to take a break. Go find something to do. Go exercise, take a walk, whatever it may be, and then come back to the charts if you're choosing to trade both the morning and the afternoon session. I don't trade. You don't really see me posting trades too much in the afternoon session. I don't trade too much in the afternoon session. If I did not catch anything in the morning, do I look at the charts in the afternoon? Yeah, I will from time to time. But most times, once, again, 10, 11 o'clock rolls around, I'm done. I'm not really specifically trying to look for a setup in the afternoon session because I have other things to do. Now, you may have the time to be able to do that, and if so, that's fine. But I would say if you're looking in the afternoon session time, probably after 1 o'clock, especially after 2 o'clock, you start getting more volume in the market. So that's probably a good sweet time to look for. The closer we get towards close, after 3 o'clock, I definitely won't be trading during that time frame, okay? Because it kind of puts you back in that same position like at 9 o'clock when the market is getting ready to open, okay? At 3 o'clock, moving into 3:30, you're moving towards the close of the session, so, the market tends to get a little more volatile like most of you guys have probably seen. But I don't utilize alerts. I say that right now when it comes to high probability zones. I don't put alerts on my charts and things of that nature. If I walk away and then I hear it chime or whatever the case is and come back. No, I'm not into doing that because to me, it's just I'm focusing on a set period of time and that's it. Okay. All right. I'm not going to be running back and forth between my charts and when something goes on. It's just if it does, it's fine. I just miss a trade setup. But everyone has to pick and choose how they want to trade. I could tell you how I trade all day long, but that doesn't mean you need to follow the same process. Again, you have to specifically set a trading plan for yourself. These questions that people ask, whatever the case is, you've got to make your own trading plan and stick to it. Don't base things off of what someone else, another trader, is doing. What works for you, okay, specifically, and stick to that, okay? Time period, type of setups you're looking for, the sessions of what you're going to actually trade, how you're going to trade, all that stuff you need to put in your trading plan. That's simply put, and stick to that. It's a personal plan for yourself is what I want to say, okay? So moving on, the question about do I continuously scan the charts for trading opportunities? Yeah, during that period of time in which I'm looking to take a trade, that 2-hour time frame, maybe 7:30 to up to 9 o'clock, or from shortly after the opening, 9:45, whatever the case is, maybe up to 10:30, no more than 11 o'clock. Yeah, I'll scan, I'll sit there and look, but I'm not sitting there. I'll look at the ES chart, okay, all right. I also look at the NASDAQ chart. I just started kind of dabbing and looking at gold, but yeah, if you have multiple charts you're looking at, then that can help you in a sense, because I know sitting there waiting for, say for example, if you're just paying attention to the NASDAQ 100, and there's nothing wrong with trading just one specific market, but if you're waiting for a setup on the NASDAQ and you don't see anything, sometimes take a look at another a market. Have maybe a few pairs that you're actually looking at in a sense, or something on your watch list in a sense, I should say, maybe the ES or the Dow, or maybe even the Russell, a second or third market, okay? Now, lots of people are just still in the mode of training and becoming educated, and they don't feel comfortable moving and looking at other markets yet. That's fine. Just stick with that one market and stick, and don't force yourself to take trades. But for me, yeah, I'll scan up until that window of opportunity for me, in which I'm going to from opening to closing shot. Once I got my one trade a day for that day, I'm done. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm not going to look into be forced to take any more trades. All right. But again, a max of 2 trades a day is what I really want to say. Okay. But yeah, I'll sit here and I'll look and glance back and forth while I'm doing other things. But once it reaches my window to where I'm done, my 2 hours max a day, that's it. I'm not coming back to the charts. I'm shutting down. Okay. I'll answer some questions from time to time. I'll jump on the Discord and things like that. But outside of that, that's it for me. About clean and clear setups. If you don't see any during the day, I've said this in multiple videos. I do not force trades. I won't force a trade. If I don't see a clean setup, I'm not taking it. If there are no trades that make sense to me for that day, I won't trade. It's a no trade day. Think about it. Would you rather force or take a trade that doesn't work out for you, or have the mindset that I need to take a trade today when really you don't need a trade? Because then when you force yourself to take that trade and you lose, guess what? It's better to not have trade than actually trade and lost money because you didn't feel comfortable about the setup. So that's my thought process on doing that. If it doesn't make sense to me, then I'm not going to take it. I'll stay out the market. All right? Because I've said this before, live to see another day, simply put. In a video, yesterday I mentioned about clean or fresh zones. I look for zones within the session. I'm not focusing on zones that were from the day before so much, or even though I know you'll see zones that make sense, that may carry high probability in a sense where they have a gap at. But you have to think about it. If we are moving away from areas and the market's breaking structure lower, and each time it's breaking structure and we are moving deeper and deeper away from a zone that may be way back up in here, by the time that market gets back there, if it's in bullish mode, I'm not saying that zone won't hold. It can. But I'm not interested in what's going on the day before, meaning and specifically to zones. I'm looking at fresh zones that occurred or happened during the day. And the fresher they are, the newer they are, meaning like the market breaks structure to the upside and then comes right back to that zone within a short period of time, I'm interested in that. That's a fresh zone. Because we are moving and trending at that period, specific time, in a certain direction. So I'm interested in, because the market's probably going to continue moving in that direction. Something that happened prior to, we're bullish here, say for example, but we were bearish here, and then it's coming back up bullish, and then it may stop at some area of a supply area. Yeah, it could definitely do that. But I'm not specifically interested in that. I'm going to trade in the direction of what's going on. Okay. If we are bullish, then I want to be in trades going to the upside, not going to the downside when the market retraces back at some point or pulls back and may stop at some area of supply. I'm interested in what's going on for that session or during that session. But again, I'm also taking a look at what's happened coming out of London, moving into the U.S. session. Again, Lots of times we have reversals between 10:30 and 11 o'clock to where the market, if it was bullish London or bearish London and carry through into the U.S. session the same way, at some point it's going to correct itself. All right. So just be careful. Like right now, if you look at the market, yeah, we're kind of moving sideways, but to me, we come down here and tested as low pretty much to the tick. We didn't break through it. And now we're breaking structure back to the upside. So I'm bullish. You see what I'm saying? We haven't taken out the close and closed below this low yet. And nor have we come up and closed below this high yet. But the market made a higher highs and higher lows to the upside. Made this high, this low. Yes, we're in between both. But right now, these are minor areas of structure. When the market started coming back down, these are minor areas of structure that it broke coming lower, but then it came back down without breaking this low and started breaking structure to the back to the upside. So I would be bullish right now. So there's a beautiful demand zone resting right here that is untapped and unmitigated. So if it came to this area, would I be interested in taking it long? Yes, because I'm bullish. So I'm trading in real time what's going on within the market and trading fresh zones. So hopefully that makes sense just as well. So yes, but during the session, in that session, if there are zones that have formed, okay, and are clean zones within that session where the market broke structure, yeah, I'll mark them off. And I'll pay attention to when the market gets back there to them. Just like right here. It broke this area of structure right here to the upside above these highs at 19,002. Okay? Now, would I wait and go ahead and mark the zone right here? Yep, I'm going to go ahead and mark it right now. And I'll wait to see what happens when the market gets back to it. Now, if we start to break more structure to the upside, then I'm cautious because now we haven't come back and tested this area. Okay, it's pulled back, but it's moved away from it, and now it's breaking more structure to the upside. So now I have to be more careful because now it's probably going to be, this could be a demand zone resting right here that's forming right here, which looks like it could be, and the market didn't come back and test this area here. So now this would be more of a fresher zone to actually trade than this one down here because now we're breaking more structure to the upside. Hopefully that makes sense. So these are the things that I look at on a daily basis. Before I sit down or when I sit down and before I take my first trade and gearing myself up to take a trade, I'm getting myself right to see what makes sense for me. If it doesn't make sense, then I'm not going to trade it. So hopefully those questions these questions you have, not just only help you out, but help answer questions that other individuals may have as well. Because a lot of times I've said this in the past, don't be scared to ask questions because I know people will have, your question may be the same question that multiple people may have, okay? Unless someone else speaks up or you speak up, you'll never get the answers, right? So I just wanted to say that, but leave a comment down below for anyone who's watching this and say, Mike, you've answered some of my questions. The questions are, they help me out. The answers that you've given, have helped me out. I like to hear from other individuals, but just as well, I also want to know what charts are you actually trading with? Are you guys using range charts or time-based charts or whatever the case is? Trade what works for you. Okay, whatever you have experience and what's working for you, I always say stick with that because you don't want to go back and change something. Look, if it ain't broke, then why fix it, right? Stick with it. But I like to hear from other individuals. I like to hear from people who are part of this community down in the comment section. If you have other questions, then leave a question down in the comments just as well. And hopefully, I can see them and I can help answer them. And maybe video contents like this or point you in a direction or someone else can point you in a direction of a video that I've done that covered that content or whatever it may be. But yeah, what charts are you using? What markets are you trading? What time periods are you actually trading? That's one of the biggest things too. Are you trading pre-market? Are you trading during, right at the open? Are you trading just strictly in the afternoon session? I know people have, work schedules and maybe they're having to trade morning session, can't trade the afternoon, or trade the afternoon session and they can't trade the morning session. So, what time periods are you also trading as well? Maybe that could be some of the problem why you may be getting into bad entries because it could be the wrong time period or time frame to be actually trading. Okay. To me personally, I've been doing this for a period of time. I think 10:30, 11 o'clock is a sweet spot to close shop. All right. Once you got that good solid trade in, please don't start trying to jump into other trades. Be done for that day. You've made your profit. Just remember that. If you are profitable on the day, then walk away. Close shop. All right, that's all I have to say, guys. I appreciate everyone that continues to chime in and watch the videos. If you're a first-time viewer to the channel, please take the time to go ahead and subscribe below. by clicking on the subscribe button for one, and also make sure to turn your post notifications on so you never miss any other uploads. Most of the content that I share here on this channel goes into detail about the strategy and how I trade, okay? Lots of loads of free content right here in the channel in which you can educate yourself if you spend time watching the video content, okay? Again, most of all the answers I promise you that anyone may have they're found within the videos, so spend time watching the videos. But that's really all I have to share. For all those that are all interested in becoming an elite member, people ask on the daily, the link is right below in the description portion of the video. I just want to say it's only $6.99 and you're getting lots and loads of value there with all the trade breakdowns, the video playlist, the great video I did on market structure. And yes, market structure is king. So please understand, learn market structure so you can understand how to trade correctly. $6.99, you gain access to that market structure video and all those trade breakdown videos to where I go into detail about trade setups, covering stop losses, the trade in general, giving you a rundown of my mind, my thought process behind these trade setups, why I got into the trade, where I was looking to take profit at, where I placed a stop loss at, just letting you know so that you know, okay? And if you simply watch these videos, you'll probably more likely grasp an understanding of how I do this on a daily basis, because I've had plenty of feedback from individuals saying, Mike, the trade breakdown videos are great. The link to them is right down in the description portion of the video. You'll see two links. The first one, the Discord. The second link is to become an elite member. Once you click on that link, 2 tiers will pop up. Make sure to choose the one for $6.99, and you will have access immediately to the membership, to the elite membership. Only $6.99. Outside of that, that's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you tuning in on a daily basis and watching the videos, okay? But do me the biggest favor. Click on that thumbs up button, click that like button so there's video content as well as other video content is shared. Any videos you watch, please click the like button so that the video content gets to where it needs to go, to people who are looking for the same relative video content so they can grasp an understanding. I'm here to share what I know to inspire other individuals, and hopefully that makes sense to all, okay? Thanks for watching. I'll see everyone in the next one.